Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for THEC's first Veteran Initiatives webinar. I appreciate everybody for joining us and especially for our panel members. Tracy, we are recording, yes? So everybody, we are recording this so that we can post it on the THEC webpage at the end of this. So you'll have access to this after it ends as well. I want to introduce Dr. Julie Roberts, our Chief Academic Officer for THEC, and then also Dr. Tracy Comer, who are joining us. She's the Senior Director for Transfer and Veteran Initiatives. So I'll hand it to Julie this morning for a few words.
Thanks, Katie. I'm going to be really brief, but just wanted to bring greetings on behalf of THEC and really say thank you to our friends that are joining us as panelists today. And thanks to Katie and Tracy for all their leadership in this space. This is our first webinar we've had for some time, and we're hoping this will kick off a cadence of different webinars that we'll be able to be providing. So again, just want to say welcome and many thanks to Katie for her leadership in getting this all pulled together. And again, thank you to our campus partners. Really excited to hear about all the great stuff you're doing. So thanks, Katie.
Thanks, Julie. And then to Dr. Tracy Comer, did you want to say a few things?
Sure. Good morning, all. Again, want to thank our speakers for your time today. Thank you all for joining us to learn more about VETS campuses. The goal here is to not only provide additional information to current designated VETS campuses, but also for those that are interested in becoming a VETS campus or VETS Bravo campus. The goal to help our veterans transition into their post-secondary education, our military connected students as well. We want to make sure that we are doing as much as we can across the state to be able to support them in that initiative. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for what you are currently doing on the campuses, and we look forward to helping you all more as you continue to support students across the state. Thanks, Katie.
Thanks, Tracy. Well, she said some of the stuff I was about to say, so I'm going to go ahead and skip that. But however, I do want to introduce our panel members. So today for the What Does It Mean to Be a VETS or VETS Bravo Campus webinar, we have Colonel Dan Bishop. Colonel Bishop graduated from the University of California at Santa Barbara in 1996 as a distinguished military graduate, receiving his commission as an armor officer. Colonel Bishop also earned his master's degree in organizational psychology from Columbia University. Following retirement, Colonel Bishop assumed the position of Director, Office of Military Veteran Services at East Tennessee State University, where he joins us today. Thank you for joining us.
Morning, everyone.
Next, we have Major General Walt Lord. Major General Walt Lord, U.S. Army retired, culminated a 36-year Army career in July of 2018. He holds a master's degree in national security and strategic studies from the Naval War College and a master's degree in strategic studies from the Army War College. Now he serves as the vice president for military and military veteran affairs division at Austin Peay State University, where he joins us today.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here.
Next, we have Frida Leslie Pillow. Frida Pillow has been in higher education since 2010. She is a certified career coach and experienced in career coaching within federal, state, and local and nonprofit sectors. She served on an international career advisory board to the United Nations on artificial intelligence ethics in career development. She is currently the Career and Veteran Transfer Center coordinator at Columbia State Community College since 2024. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, everyone.
Next, we have Matt Shirley. With over 2 decades of experience in the electrical industry, Matt has brought a wealth of hands-on experience and a deep understanding of workforce demands to TCAP Pulaski. For the past 5 years, he has served in compliance, ensuring institutional integrity and supporting student success. In January of 2025, Matt stepped into the role of school certifying official, where he now proudly advocates for veteran students, helping ease their transition from military service to civilian careers. Thanks, Matt, for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And last but not least, we have Dr. Jim Getman, U.S. Navy retired. Dr. Getman is the Director of Veterans and Military Services at Maryville College in Maryville, Tennessee. Dr. Getman retired from the Navy in 2006 as a lieutenant commander and holds a PhD in leadership and organizational behavior from the University of Phoenix and an MBA from Regis University. In addition, he is adjunct professor for several colleges and universities across the country. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to be here.
Okay, many of us on this call understand what it means to be a VETS campus, but a lot of you may not. I learned this in November of last year. So passed into law in 2014, the Tennessee Veteran Education Transition Support Act was established as a program of recognition for higher education institutions, which allocate resources for veterans' successful transition from military service to college enrollment. Now, what does that mean? That means that each institution that is recognized with the VETS campus designation is equipped, capable, and willing to support veterans and military connected students to navigate all of their benefits and and overcome the barriers they have to complete enrolling and completing their higher education goals. So that's it in a nutshell, but hopefully throughout this webinar, we can hear from different campuses on how that actually works in reality. So the act is there to recognize the campuses that are doing this, because we all know that this is not just to put a stamp on something and we're on our merry way. There are a lot of things to navigate within obtaining benefits and resources for veterans and military connected students on campus so that they can enroll and complete their degrees or higher education goals. So one, I would like to thank all of you on this call for everything that you do for veterans and military connected students on your campuses. But now I would like us to start sharing some of those resource needs, barriers, or experiences that each campus has. So I would like to start with Walt, and this is going to be for all the panel members, but when did your campus become a VETS campus, and why did your campus choose to apply for the designation?
We became a VETS campus in 2015, and recently, 2025, we've become the first VETS Bravo campus. And there are a number of reasons or a number of products that come with the VETS campus status. I think, internally, there's a benefit because there's some validation, some confirmation that, we actually are doing the things that we think we're doing. It's easy to say that we're veteran friendly or veteran ready and that we do great things for our student veterans and their families. But it's another when an external agency like THEC takes a look at what you're doing and says, yes, you are, or maybe you're not doing as well as you think you are. So for us, it was good validation that we are doing the good things that we think we're doing. And externally, we want veterans to know that we are going to do everything we can do to make sure we're providing them with the best possible services and support, from enrollment to counseling to services to career services to help them move on to the next phase in life. And, let's be completely transparent here. Part of it is a recruiting tool, right? When veterans know that you're doing the best possible job to take good care of them and their families, they're going to tell their buddies. And I share with our faculty, especially, all the time that there is no group of students like the ones that we serve, military affiliated students, that will talk to their buddies like ours will. And they will act on what they hear from their buddies. So if a veteran or service member or military family member tells their friends, whether it's in Clarksville where we are, or they just PCS'd to Fort Richardson, Alaska, and that staff sergeant is telling all his squad members, my school that I'm still enrolled at online now is taking great care of me. It's a great recruiting pitch when veterans and service members know that you're taking good care of them. And finally, I would say that, setting a goal to meet additional requirements in any way, but specifically to be a VETS campus or a VETS Bravo campus, it serves to make you better because you've got a list of things that you have to continually do well and continually get better at. So it's a control measure to make sure that we're continuing to strive to get even better.
Thanks. Well, Frida, would you like to answer the question? I'll repeat it. When did your campus become a VETS campus? And why did your campus choose to apply for the designation?
Well, first off, Katie, Tracy, Julie, panelists, everybody, thank you for including me in this important conversation. As a daughter, in memory of my father, my belated father, who served in the United States Army as a military police officer, this work, this conversation holds a very deep meaning for me. I am proud to serve in my current capacity as the Career Veteran and Transfer Center Coordinator at Columbia State, which is Tennessee's first community college, founded in 1966. And in fact, Columbia State, we are approaching a 60-year milestone of building futures, which reflect the legacy. It reflects us being rooted in excellence, access, and service. So that brings us to the service part. So our visionary leader, our president, Dr. Janet Smith, she continuously encourages us and challenges us at the college to seek innovative ways to better serve our student population. And through her leadership, we are inspired to engage in high impact practices that make a meaningful difference in the lives of our students. One such example of this commitment is the VETS campus designation, which was awarded to Columbia State by the Tennessee Higher Education Commission, received November 2016. This designation affirmed for us a dedication to providing comprehensive support and also resources to those who have served in the military. And it recognizes the impactful work that's being done daily, not only by my office, but just across the campus, that collaboration. It recognizes that work that's done daily to ensure that our student veteran population succeeds academically and personally here at Columbia State. Columbia State chose to pursue the VETS campus designation in response to a growing need with our student population. While supporting those who have served our country, it has always been a priority, and we recognize the value in formalizing it through the VETS campus designation. So what that designation does, it formalizes the work that we do. It also puts us in a space of intentionality, puts us in a space of accountability, and it gives us that opportunity for sustained growth in how we serve our military affiliated students.
Thanks, Frida. I'll move on to Dr. Getman. Would you like to answer that question? And I'll repeat it for you as well. When did your campus become a VETS campus, and why did your campus choose to apply for the designation?
Yeah, so this is a really great question. We were early 2016 and I reached out to my predecessor, who I obviously wasn't here then. From a recruitment perspective, they indicated that they did see a surge in enrollment based on that status. And Although we don't track those metrics now, it's not directly related to the VETS campus as far as recruiting. Once they're here, and I like something that Walt said, is that, you know, it's bigger than just providing a space for the student veterans. You know, it's a special club to be in, but it's all the other services that we provide on campus, similar to a lot of the other campuses. And that's what I think. They come for different reasons. We like to ask that survey question on our annual survey, but it's why they stay, and that it's a little elitist to be part of a VETS campus, and them to be a student at a VETS campus. It means, I think, more to them than just a regular campus, and that's refreshing because they have choices. And I've had the student veterans here says, I have choices. Especially in this area, this part of East Tennessee. And when they choose Maryville College, and on top of that, the direct support that they get for being a student veteran, it's refreshing, especially when my office is in their space and you hear them talking about research studies. It's like, oh, it kind of warms your heart that they've adopted this. And our retention rates, the graduation rates, are phenomenal as compared to the rest of the campus. And we all know that the student veterans, they're a unique student. You know, they're here with a different mission than a lot of younger students. And we try to not take that for granted, but provide support so that it's really maximized, so that they do have the best academic experience. They can be the best student that they can possibly be. And we use all the resources here, both on campus and off campus, to help facilitate successful graduation rates.
Thank you. Colonel Bishop, would you like to answer that question?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Would you like me to repeat it?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Really, we've been at VETS campus since 2015 as well. So we were an early signer-upper, for lack of a better term. But really, I think first, there's a couple things, and a lot of this has sort of already been discussed, but really it fits very nicely just with our mission statement here at East Tennessee State, which is first and foremost, improve the quality of life for the region. And of course, they've tacked on and beyond as we're looking to compete beyond the greater Northeast Tennessee region now. And so when you look at our immediate community here in the Tri-Cities area, we're not going to compete with General Lord there at Austin P, where he's got Clarksville right in his backyard. But we've got a astronomically high, relatively speaking, veteran population here, 12% on the low end, 15% on the high end of the region. So a history of service here. And so the veteran community, obviously very important for the Tri-Cities region, and it's growing. Top 5 VA medical center that's co-located with our medical school here at ETSU. And then just for all of us, where I think we've got an advantage, and General Lord touched on this, is, hey, the word is out on Tennessee. And so broadly, I think all of us have got an advantage as we're hitting the recruiting trail. There's some other states out there, Texas is great for veterans, but it's a little hotter and a little bit more desert. And if you like a few more options, and Tennessee is a lot more appealing. But really going back to the question, I think that's why it was an easy decision for us to jump on the VETS campus designation, because it reflects our support here at the university, really reflects our commitment to the veteran community here in the Tri-Cities area. I like it also because, I mean, the benchmarks on being a VETS campus they're not that much of a burden. And for those campuses that are not currently VETS campuses, I would actually say, if you look at the criteria, I'm going to bet you're already doing most of this on campus, and you just haven't taken the time to put the application in. So I'd encourage you to do so. And I'm hot on the heels of General Lord and Austin P to get our VETS Bravo designation in place as well. But I like the fact that, hey, there's going to be turnover, and that, I am not going to be here at ETSU forever. And so having some benchmarks at the state level that hold a university like ETSU accountable through, iterations of whoever's going to be sitting in this chair, and more broadly university leadership, I think is very valuable. And then again, it's been talked about already, but really it's been helpful with recruiting, and that service members, veterans, military affiliated students have got options, and being able to say, hey, beyond just, everyone is going to say, hey, yeah, we support the military, we're military friendly, but actually being able to point to these are the benchmarks that we're required to meet to have this designation, I think has been just sort of another arrow in the quiver as we're trying to compete for that population. Thank you.
Thank you. Matt, would you like to answer, when did your campus become a VETS campus and why did you choose to apply for the designation?
Absolutely. I think we're the newest to the designation. There's not a whole lot that I can say that you guys haven't covered. I appreciate that. Definitely. I can keep it short and sweet. We became a VETS designated campus in April of this year. I came on in January and was very thankful for my predecessor, Kerry Gilbert, and my president, Mike Whitehead, for the vision of becoming a VETS designated campus. It was all about creating a welcoming structure and environment for our veteran students, and to make sure that we had clear pathways into our technical programs. On a more personal note, I'm thankful to be a part of this, and it's a privilege to get to know the students and build a bond with them early in their studies and watch them grow.
Thanks, Matt. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next question. Have you seen an increase in enrollment in student veterans or military connected students since you were awarded the VETS designation? And if so, have you received any feedback from the students, or what is your conclusion as to why your enrollment went up? Frida, would you like to start with this question?
Sure, thank you. I would say yes, indeed. Columbia State has experienced a steady increased number in overall enrollment, and this growth is reflected in the rising number of student veterans, their spouses, and their dependents. When Columbia State received the VETS campus designation in 2016, our military-connected student population stood at approximately 90 individuals. However, by the time I assumed this current role in late 2024, last year, that number had decreased some to only 71. But I'm proud to announce that today, in 2025, we have 160 students, that includes the veterans, spouses, and dependents, who have self-identified on their college application as military connected. However, that's not the full number, because once they discover that we have services and resources available to them, there are more of them that come out the woodwork and they're like, oh, I just didn't put that on the application, but I did serve. So just the presence really helps have an organic way of military connected students to have resources, and they share with one another. That was mentioned earlier. They really create their own community. And so this growth is a testament of efforts in our outreach, intentional programming, and that sense of community that we continue to cultivate. Our progress is largely driven by, I would say, certain key factors such as peer advocacy, word of mouth. We also have dedicated spaces across each of our campus locations. Some of our campuses are slightly smaller, so we may just have just a section of the library that's sectioned off where they know, okay, I can go right here and get the most up-to-date materials, resources, or at least they know who to contact if they didn't self-identify and they're not getting my monthly communications. Another driving factor, I would say, would be just we have a robust outreach, and we do events that are targeted for those who have served, and we include their families in those events as well. Oftentimes we just think about the student, but if we think about the student, we have the holistic approach of including their families. Yes, bring your children. Yes, bring your spouse, and let us meet them as well because they're part of your success story. We also have a Student Veterans of America SVA chapter, and their engagement is really instrumental in helping relay the message of what's available to other students who have served. And I would say a cherry on the top, we received a considerate endowment from a retired Columbia State chemistry professor. Dr. B.I. Natty here, he provided additional support to veterans through our foundation's office. So any needs that maybe some of the other scholarships or grants may not cover, this significant endowment allows $1,000 for our students each year, and it can help in certain gaps when they're waiting on, responses on certain supports that may be out here for them.
Thanks, Frida. Dan, would you like to answer this question?
Yeah, really. And I can look at data. I'll apologize. I can't go all the way back to 2015, but really 2021 is, we were sitting at about 700 military affiliated students here on campus, and we're now at fall, we're over 1,200. So we've had some pretty explosive growth up here in the northeast state of the northeast region of the state. One of the key things I think, and not every campus is going to be blessed with the same resources, but here, ETSU leadership, President Noland is really, he's allowed us to establish this office where there's four of us here, and we are obviously solely committed to supporting that military affiliated student population. And so that is, whether it's one person, whether it's four, or whether it's an empire elsewhere at some of the larger universities, I think that's critically important. Having a dedicated, not just a certification side of the house, because that's very transactional. Of course, we all have to do that. But from an advocacy perspective, having a commitment to have offices like ours that can advocate for students, can go in front of a university board and argue for additional resources, I think has been critical. And we've had some enormous success here at ETSU in trying to advocate for additional benefits. And to be honest, and again, for anyone that's looking to jump on the VETS bandwagon here, what I love is it's a great community where we can exchange ideas. And so I very unapologetically have stolen a bunch of ideas from General Lord, from Dr. Miller there at MTSU, and have told them, hey, this is a great idea. I'm going to steal it from you. And I think we've got a pretty good team here where we're able to share best practices. And of course, universities compete with each other, but I really do think we're sort of taking the higher road, and that, hey, ETSU might not be the right place for a particular veteran. It might be a TCAT down the street, or if it's a service member that's at Fort Campbell, it might be a better option to go to Austin Peay. And so really proud of the partnership that we have, and where we've been able to have some success with our board. Our governing board is again beyond just this office, and some of this you can do. It doesn't cost you anything. So if you're a university that is sort of resource poor, priority registration for our military affiliated students, we offer that. We do offer scholarships, and so we offer a dependent scholarship for $1,000 a semester, and for veterans $1,500 a semester, in-state rate. And we offer the in-state rate for any of our military affiliated students, either by policy or by scholarship. And so that's been and the good news there is I got the money folks on this end to say, hey, that would be a net neutral. And so that was largely how we were able to get some of these across the finish line, and getting the money folks to say, hey, at least this won't be a money loser for the university. We've got a lounge here that's open that our folks have got access to 24 hours, 7 days a week with their campus ID card. We've got a very extensive faculty and staff green zone training program, which we, again, I stole it from UT Knoxville and we made it our own. And so we do that dozens of times over the course of the campus. And so, and then an idea that I've proudly stolen from General Lord is in Austin P is the tuition assistance match for our active duty personnel. Now, I heard some of the early conversations. I'm glad I only have 50 of them right now because obviously that's difficult to handle with the current government shutdown. And so I was thinking, my gosh, Austin P over 800, that'd be difficult. But nevertheless, I've droned on. I think having university leadership that's truly beyond just the designation to investing in the military affiliated population on campus is critically important and will bear fruit if you put some of those measures into place. Thanks.
Thanks, Dan. Dr. Getman, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, that's okay. I preloaded some of these questions in my first answer, so one had to do with recruitment and retention, and we did see a surge. Again, there's been a little bit of a period here, to be quite candid, where the veterans prior to my time here, where the veteran programs were not fully supported, and I think the recruitment suffered from that. Right now, we're fully supported from the president on down. Really a great environment for anyone associated with our veteran programs. But again, it is a program that once the students get here and the veterans get here, they know that they're genuinely and authentically supported, and then they want to give back. So our community outreach programs, our food drives, I get a lot of support from student veterans because that's just an environment they're used to coming from, but also they know that to give back based on who they are as a person, as a veteran, and then as the support they receive from the school is really robust and really significant. So we're looking to grow that, and that would be really nice for us to build on what we've already reestablished here at Maryville College.
Thank you. So just to recap, have you seen an increase in enrollment in student veterans or military connected students since you were awarded the VETS campus? So that is exactly the purpose of the recognition. Is the word of mouth is something that was talked about a lot. Word of mouth is very sacred, so to speak, to a veteran, and if they already have that trust built with their peers and their teammates and all that, so they don't have to vet their answers, so to speak. Sometimes you do, to be real, but there's already that level of trust whenever they say, oh, this campus helped me a lot, or this campus sat down with me and didn't act like it was a burden to help me. And there are a lot of different things to navigate for benefits and resources for veterans in higher education. So just to know that the campuses have a plan in place to do that or have experience in doing that, I think speaks a lot to what everyone on this call is doing for veterans daily. The next question I have, has your campus applied for and been awarded any money from THEC to support being a VETS campus? And if so, what did your campus use it for? And I'd like to start with Dan for this.
Yes, we did. Good question. We had a research grant a couple years ago that we worked our way through here, and we did a couple things with it. One was a needs assessment, and we really tried to reach out beyond the ETSU campus and pull in Northeast State was our original plan. And then also we were working with our Center for Academic Achievement to see if a military affiliated student, academic coach or tutor paired up with a fellow military affiliated student, if that worked better. and see if that would improve our retention and graduation rates for our population. And so that was it was interesting, and I'll admit that I learned a lot with that being new to academia, my first grant, and trying to figure out, how to actually administer the grant. It was a little bit more of an administrative burden than I anticipated. Mostly on campus, THEC was great, but just trying to figure out, okay, what is this? What's an IRB on campus, and why do I need to talk to them, and why do I need their permission to do what I want to do? And so I learned some very good rookie lessons here, and it was a really good experience. Now, how would we use the money in the future? And Katie, I know I've talked to you about this, but I would really like to see more THEC grant opportunities that could support operations. And again, I kind of touch on, we're a mid-major here. I get resourcing from the university, but I know a lot of our peers out there, and probably many on this webinar, are at campus locations that just simply don't have the resources to do what we're able to do here at ETSU or larger campuses. So THEC grants for especially those partners able to actually support operations and supporting their population on campus, I think would be a much more effective way for us to access grants. It's my 2 cents on it, Katie. I know you've heard that before.
Sorry, I lost my mute button. Thank you for that, Dan. Yes, we've talked about that in detail. Mr. Lord, would you like to answer that question?
Sure. Yeah, we've benefited from a number of VET Reconnect grants, both in research and operationally, as far as the conferences go. So our first one, I believe, was in 2017, a little bit before my time here. We received a grant for student success, which really was laser focused on the prior learning assessment process and how we could improve it. In 2018, we received another grant, and I believe we were one of 14 schools to receive a $49,000 grant. It was for a military pathway pilot project focused on smoothing the transition from military service to college and career as a follow-on. In 2019, 22, and 23, we received the grant to host the VETS Reconnect conference, and we did that here on our campus. And then in 2022, we received a grant for what we call the PAVES project, promoting access for veterans educational success. That was also a military and veteran student success research project, but it was much broader. It was not specifically focused on PLA, but pretty much on everything we can do to try to improve the educational experience and support for student veterans. And I'll echo my teammate Dan. We're supported pretty well. We get robust support from the university here, but there's always more we can do in the operational world. So I would love to see grants focused more on that than on research.
Thank you for that. Matt, I'm going to move to you. And if you don't, I know you're very new to the position. If you don't know, what would you use grant money for at your location at TCAP Pulaski?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I know if we're to secure future funding, we'd love to expand career development, and mental health support's huge for our veterans. And of course, I'd love to have a veterans resource center / room that I could pimp out and make it all look great and be welcoming.
Okay, thank you so much. That being said, we are in the interest of time. We had some questions at the registration that there was a question asked if you have a question at the beginning of this webinar. We did have some questions come up in that registration thing that I want to go over.
So Katie, I was having an issue dropping it in the chat for some reason. However, I will read the first question, and I guess whoever would like to answer can jump in. So the first question is, I'm interested in more detailed information on VETS Bravo. So we know who's up for that answer. So before I throw it to Katie, I would love to hear from Walt on this question.
Yeah, we and I think I would have gotten to this in one of our prompting questions that Katie would have asked, but you know, for us, going for the VETS Bravo designation really, it sort of reinforced a lot of things that we were already doing. Much like I think it was Dan, maybe who said earlier, you know, get these things recorded, get them codified, get them documented, because many of you out there are already doing these things. You just need to document them. And that was the case with us as well. It did make us better at doing some of the things that we were doing. The VETS Bravo designation criteria of actually taking survey results and implementing changes to support student veterans. We did do annual surveys. Frankly, we didn't find them very useful. What we did find useful was each semester I do 2 focus group sessions with all of our military affiliated students. Typically a good number of veterans will come to that. And we would take that and I ran it like a military after action review. You know, okay, here's our mission so that you know what we're supposed to be doing for you. So now tell us, what are we doing well that we need to keep doing? What are we not doing so well that we need to improve? What are we not doing that we should be doing? And help us understand that from your perspective. And we've had little wins based on those after action reviews or focus group meetings. And I'll give one as an example. You know, we had a student veteran. It was shortly after I arrived here a few years ago. And it was such a little thing. He said, you know, on this campus, the campus police enforce the parking regulations with license plate readers. So we're required to nose into our parking spots. We can't park backwards. Well, we as a military culture, especially those of us who served on land, that's habit for us. We back into parking spots. It's in our DNA. You know, that would be seen as a little thing across the campus, but for us, we know that that's part of the culture. So we took that comment to our vice president for student affairs and said, look, you know, you offer these $10 license plates, Austin P numerical license plates that people can put on the front of their car if they want to back into a spot. We've got student veterans who've said they're not comfortable nosing into their parking spots. And on the spot, the VP for Student Affairs said, tell me how many license plates you need. I'm going to give them to all of your student veterans. We wouldn't have known that as little as that sounds, that was annoying that student veteran and probably more. But that kind of feedback that we get through surveys and focus groups, and more important than getting it and telling them that, hey, we care about what you think, but actually implementing where we can, especially low cost things like that, makes a huge difference. Formalizing the peer mentorship program. You know, we've got a great center here, Military and Veteran Student Center, and we watch, the staff, we watch every day as peer mentoring is happening. As some of our student veterans are here having a cup of coffee before they go over to class. But we never really documented a formal program for doing that. And when we saw that criteria in VETS Bravo, that kicked us into gear. And we said, hey, let's figure out a way to document this and expand it. And that goes into the third additional criteria of career services. We've got a great relationship with our university career services department, and we do great things with them. but we've got a dedicated career services specialist just for our military affiliated students. He's retired senior Army NCO. He spent a good bit of the latter part of his Army career as a career counselor. So he had the skills to step onto campus and get going at a sprint. So we put peer counseling, peer mentoring in his basket, and he blew that up and found a military alumni donor who's interested in automated platforms for what he does. So he's now stood up an AI enhanced resume building platform. It's called WiseDoc, but it'll take what they've done here as a student, what they did in their military careers, and if they enter into the platform the job vacancy of a job they're seeking, it will build a resume that takes everything they've done as students and as military members and merge it to make it as strong as possible to meet that specific job opportunity. But Tony's also gone out and found a peer counseling platform that we're putting into place, funded by the same military alumni donor, that invites mentors and counselors from across our campus community and frankly from our Clarksville community as well, because of the strong veteran presence here. And it assigns mentors to the students who are looking for one. And in many cases, it is fellow student veterans who've signed up to be not only mentees, but mentors. So they're mentoring each other through that platform. So yeah, I mean, we were doing the basics in those three criteria that are additional requirements for VETS Bravo. But the fact that we really wanted to earn that designation made us do them better and expand what we do within them.
Thank you for that. Okay, I think we have one more question from the registration.
Yes, Katie, I'm able to drop it in the chat, but I'll go ahead and read it out loud. Is a break area necessary or just suggested? So I'm assuming maybe they're considering a veteran center is what I would assume, but I posted in the chat. And then Katie, there's one additional question that I will post in the chat and I will answer it in the chat just for time purposes.
Thanks, Tracy. Jim, did you want to answer this question?
Yeah, actually, that's a great question. And our Veteran Reconnect grant we received in 2015, and that allowed us to establish a center. We didn't have a space at all, and also allowed us to fund the first director of Veterans and Military Services. So that position wasn't funded by the school. So the grant was really powerful in getting a center established. And our center is small, but it's got about 4 different components. There's a meeting side, there's a video conferencing side. We worked with our counseling center. We have a relaxation station, basically a massage chair for the veterans to relax and fall asleep, and a place for them to sit and have lunch and converse. And like I had mentioned earlier, they do collaborate here with big whiteboards. So I do think it is a double-edged sword, though. I've got to be completely honest with you that it's exclusive. We don't have card access. We have, key code access. But I have met some veterans here that do not come to the center. And no fault of anybody. They just basically words to the effect of, I was in a club. I don't want to be in another club. And I respect that because I can relate to that. So just because you have a military student center doesn't mean it's going to be occupied with 100% of your student veterans. So, and that took me a little while to accept that was okay. At first, it was a little frustrating because I was like, wow, this is a great place to collaborate and reconnect and relax. But it's not for everyone. So that's, I guess, a word of caution that it's a great space to have. And I think it's, as far as being a requirement, I think it's a good perk to have, but it helps to facilitate the reason they're here, to be better students.
Thank you. Frida or Matt, did you want to add to that?
I would say that a space, it may not be necessary, but it's helpful. Even when you have students, just as Jim just explained, that they choose not to participate in it, there are times when those same students, if they need information or support, they know they can migrate there or to my office. So I won't say it's necessary, but it's helpful because these spaces actually provide kind of like a station of information for them. And whatever way they choose to use it or not use it, I think it builds the confidence in our willingness to support them as a student when we have something designated for them. And I'll add this, some of our satellite campuses, they don't have the luxury of having an entire office or a space, but we've just carved out a corner of the library, and our students know, okay, right here I can get resources and I can kind of connect if I want to, or not connect. So not necessary, but very helpful.
Matt, did you have anything to add to that?
I'll agree to it being not necessary, but very helpful. Ours is very limited. They can go and get information and camaraderie with each other, but I want something that I want to expand that so they feel more comfortable.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So just to recap, this whole webinar was what does it mean to be a VETS or VETS Bravo campus in Tennessee? So in 2014, the Veteran Education Transition Support Act was put in place. And basically this was in place to help the service member, the veteran who is no longer serving or active duty or reservist or National Guard. In my mind, they're active duty as well. So the active duty member or the veteran who is no longer serving that did serve previously. That's what the act in 2014 was there to support. And it basically was just to say, hey, codify your processes on how you're going to support this population of student at your campus. You're going to do that. If a veteran walks into your campus, I'd be willing to bet 100% of you are going to help that student, and you're going to figure out what the processes are for benefits and resources for that individual student. So really the designation was to say, hey, let's codify this process. So when the person that's in this position now leaves, there's a process that can be handed down and we don't have to recreate the wheel every time. And then let's get word of mouth out that this campus can help you navigate the very confusing and chaotic processes that the VA has, or or get you in touch with resources that you may benefit from with all of the nonprofit support in the community or all of the programs that the campuses have in place for that specific purpose to do that. So in 2024, we added the VETS Bravo designation, and really, and VETS designation has 7 requirements. The Bravo designation has 4, and really, the biggest difference with the VETS Bravo designation is now we want you to codify those processes for the military connected students. So the spouse and the dependent that are on your campus using VA benefits as well, that would also be eligible for the same resources that the veteran or active duty member would utilize as, or be eligible for, in addition to career services. So now they've completed their higher education goals with your assistance and help. Now, how are we going to assist them to take that final step or that next step in getting out into the community with all of the other state initiatives to keep Tennesseans in Tennessee and into the workforce? How do we do that? Let's codify those processes so that we can help navigate that system as well. So as the state, we want to recognize and award campuses for doing all of this work, because it is a lot of work. And if we can help just give that push to codify the processes and write them down so that we can improve them instead of reinvent them every time, I think we'd be in a better spot, or we are in a better spot for doing that. And we all appreciate all of your hard work. A couple things that I would like to touch on is word of mouth is a big thing for the veteran community. Intentionality for the campuses. We appreciate your intentionality to serve this population of people at your campuses. It's bigger than providing a space. There's a veteran will always, I can't speak for everybody, but most of the time a veteran will accept resources, but they don't want handouts. So there's a big difference in saying, I have these resources for you, or here, I need to walk you through all of this stuff. They're not necessarily looking for that. They're just looking for experience to ask questions to and not feel like a burden to the campuses or the personnel helping them. And then self-identification, they might not want to identify as veterans, but when you have resources for veterans, they're gonna, it goes back to the accepting resources, not handouts. So they're gonna accept the resources 9 times out of 10, but when they're couched as, like I said, again, being a burden or something like that, they don't want to identify because there is a stigma that you have to do X, Y, and Z for veterans because of whatever reason. I don't agree with those, so I'm not gonna like put them out here, but I think they will always accept resources. So when they understand that campuses are willing, able, and capable to resource them and assist them, I think you'll get a lot more to self-identify. But with that being said, I appreciate we've got 3 more minutes if anybody wants to put a question in the chat. But I did place the Veteran Initiatives website link in the chat. There's information on the VETS campuses. There's information that will go in there if we release another RFP for grant money. There will be information on the upcoming annual conference. There will be information on whatever you need for the Veteran Initiative side of THEC. If not, there is also my email. You can always reach out to me, or there is also a veterans.initiatives@tn.gov, which is on the website as well. You can reach out to that website or that email address, and we will get all of your questions answered. Also on the registration, it asked you if you wanted to be a member of the listserv for Veteran Initiative. So if you check yes to that, we will add you to the listserv. And then the emails, we have a new system. So I'm building that listserv as we speak. So you'll get new emails from that listserv. And I'll be putting out more information that way as well. Lastly, I'll be doing hopefully more of these webinars, and we'll record them and place them on the website so you can reach back out to them and watch them over and over until your heart's content. I appreciate all of the input and all of the questions. Thank you very much for attending, and I'm about right on time if I can drag this out a couple more seconds.
Can I help you, Katie?
Sure.
I would just recommend, and I'm going to echo what many have said throughout this webinar, whether you're looking at becoming a VETS campus or sustaining your VETS campus status or jumping up to VETS Bravo, don't try to go it alone. There are a lot of community partners that are going to help you with all kinds of services if you ask them, whether they're military affiliated like VFW, American Legion. There are human needs kinds of nonprofits that would love to help you support your student veterans and their families. Campus partners, critically important. You've got a lot of faculty and staff on your campuses who really want to support you, and you just don't know it yet because you haven't asked them. And then partners among this group, and Dan talked about it. He and Hillary Brewer and Scott Brower and I, we talk all the time. We get together when we can. If we happen to be in Nashville at the same time, just to share best practices. And I'm blessed with a university president who always tells me that when it comes to serving this population of students, we don't have competitors, we have partners, and share everything. So please don't try to go it alone. Lean into us, and let us share our best practices with you.
Thank you, and we are right on time.